United States of Europe making fun of the EU the American way. The European elections are coming up at the end of May, and on Thursday night, I will be appearing at the D66 Loves Europe event in Utrecht. D66, the Dutch pro-EU party, where I was actually a candidate a few years ago, raising the question, how did I get into politics? How I got into politics is a story that also partly answers the question, how did I get into comedy? The answer, I grew to this height of about 2 meters tall at the age of 12, and yet I was even more skinny. The jokes wrote themselves. I looked like a Muppet. I still do. I start out all serious, like Sam the Eagle. But then as soon as I start to move, it's like watching Grover. Hello, everybody. Me playing sports has been described by my close friends as like watching a horse on roller skates. This story begins when I was about 12 years old in a junior high school just outside Chicago, where there were elections for student council. Student council. Because what 12-year-old doesn't dream about spending after school hours and Saturdays debating parliamentary procedure? But for me, it was maybe a ticket into a different social setting, because in the social setting of my class, it was a nightmare. I was the biggest nerd. I was being teased so mercilessly by the kids in my class. My legs were so long, I didn't know what to do with them. I had to cross them under my desk just to keep them out of the way. And yeah, since you cross your legs like a girl, I guess that means you're gay, was the popular refrain. And even then, I told them, hey, that's intolerant, and you're just a bigot. And they were like, bigot? At least I'm not a f***it. And I thought, yes, this is the kind of person I want to represent in pretend Congress. Student council seemed like this exclusive club, reserved for people just as socially uncool as me. Now, there were 10 classes in my grade, and each class got to pick 2 representatives, which I just assumed would be the biggest 2 nerds from each class. Like in my class, there were 2 nerds, me and the Chinese kid named Eddie. We got along fine, even though he was the cool nerd, because he knew how to keep his mouth shut. There were like 30 kids in my class, and then came the day when we all got to vote for who in the class we would want to represent us in the student council. After the voting, my teacher, who hated me, read the results. She was like, well, let's start at the bottom. Gregory with 1 vote, and the kids were like, loser. But there was only one other name on the list. Eddie Ng with 29 votes. And so, because there were 2 representatives from every class, I was elected to the student council with only 1 vote. Ever since then, I've had a love for democracy, as well as the painful awareness that democracy is actually way too precious to be entrusted in the hands of most people. Anyway, sure, go vote in the European elections, because that's just what they want.